Che Guevara says that the greatest strength of a human being is their conscience, because it is the conscience that gives a person the courage to stand against injustice. He believes that once you open your heart for humanity, nothing in the world can make you selfish again. According to him, revolutions are not created only with weapons, but with a fire that burns inside the heart, a fire that refuses to remain silent in the face of oppression. Che says that a person who fears taking risks can never truly live free, because the path of freedom is always difficult, filled with sacrifices, and never meant for the weak. He believes that those who change the world are the ones whose dreams are bigger than their circumstances, the ones who refuse to bow down to reality and instead choose to change it. He says that once you understand the truth, everything that goes against it will make you restless, and this restlessness keeps the soul awake and alive. According to Che, love and rebellion are two sides of the same coin, because love softens the heart and rebellion strengthens it. A person becomes complete only when they are able to love deeply and stand firmly against injustice. He says that every human being faces a moment in life when they must choose either to remain a silent spectator or to stand in the line of resistance. That moment defines who they truly are. Che Guevara believes that the greatest tragedy in life is that people fail to recognize their own power. He calls learning a revolutionary process because knowledge is the force that breaks every chain of slavery. In his view, a person who is ready to die for a purpose never truly loses, but a person who stops living out of fear has already lost. He says that if you dream, then you must also learn to fight for those dreams, because dreams without struggle remain incomplete forever. Those who only talk do not change history. History is changed by those who take action, whether the world supports them or not. According to Che, a person should live not only for themselves but for others too, because living only for oneself is a limited ambition, but living for humanity is a sacred duty. He says never underestimate the power of love, because love keeps even the most exhausted fighter alive in the darkest forests of battle. He says that when you sleep hungry for your mission, when you survive cold nights without a blanket, when sleep is taken away from your eyes but you still don't step back from your purpose, then you have finally become a true soldier. He says that every tyrant is only as powerful as people allow him to be, and when the people rise, even the mightiest cruelty collapses like a wall of sand. Che Guevara believes that a day will come when humans will no longer see each other as enemies, when borders will stop dividing hearts, when hunger, poverty, and exploitation will unite people instead of breaking them. He says that if you have ever seen tears in the eyes of the oppressed and it made your heart restless, then you are still alive, then humanity still lives inside you. He believes that a person's true worth is measured by their character, not by wealth, power, or position. He says that the first voice raised against injustice always sounds small, but that voice lays the first stone of revolution. According to him, if you want the world to remember you, then do something for the world that the world can never forget. A person bows to fear only when they have forgotten the value of freedom. He says that courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to move forward despite fear. A person who goes against their conscience is defeated even when they appear victorious. Che believes that struggles are necessary on the journey, because struggles strengthen the spirit and teach lessons no book can teach. He says that if you have never sacrificed something precious for your purpose, then you have not understood its worth. The path of humanity is difficult but it is the most beautiful path of all. He says that the world will never take you seriously until you take yourself seriously. Self-belief is a weapon that can turn a poor person into a king and an arrogant king into a beggar. Che says society begins to fall apart the day people start accepting injustice as normal, when they start calling cruelty destiny. He says destiny is changed by people, no change descends from the sky. Che Guevara says that a person becomes dangerous to oppression the moment they learn to think for themselves. Independent thought is the enemy of every tyrant, because a free mind cannot be controlled by fear or manipulated by lies. He believes that those who question the world are the ones who eventually change it. Silence may keep you safe for a while, but it never makes you free. Freedom demands a voice, and that voice must rise even when the world tries to silence it. Che says that every revolution begins with a single thought, the thought that the world can be better, that injustice is not permanent, and that the human spirit is more powerful than any empire. He says that when you refuse to accept cruelty as normal, you become a threat to those who benefit from it. The oppressor fears the awakening of the oppressed more than anything else, because once a person discovers their strength, no chain can hold them. Che believes that hope is a weapon stronger than any bullet, because hope spreads from heart to heart, and no system can crush an idea whose time has come. He says that men may die, but their dreams do not. The dream of justice travels through generations, living in the hearts of those who refuse to kneel. According to Che, the biggest mistake a person can make is to believe that they are helpless. No one is helpless as long as they can think, speak, and act. Even the smallest action, when done with courage, becomes a spark that can light 1,000 fires. He says that the world does not change in giant leaps but in tiny acts of bravery performed by ordinary people. Every time a person chooses truth over comfort, they push the world one step closer to freedom. Che says you must never underestimate the power of one honest voice, because one voice can awaken millions. He says that suffering is not just pain, suffering is a teacher. It teaches you who you really are, what you can endure, and how deeply your convictions run. People who are untested may appear strong, but true strength belongs to those who have walked through fire and refused to break. Che believes that pain gives birth to clarity, and clarity gives birth to revolution. When you suffer for justice, every wound becomes a badge of honor, a reminder that you stood for something worth standing for. He says that history remembers the wounded more than the comfortable, the fighters more than the observers. According to him, love for humanity is not a weakness, it is the greatest strength. A heart that cares for others becomes unstoppable, because it fights not for personal gain but for the dignity of all. Che says that selfishness may bring temporary comfort, but it never brings meaning. Meaning comes from giving, from sacrificing, from believing that your life can make the world a little less cruel. He believes that a compassionate person is more revolutionary than a violent one, because compassion creates unity, and unity creates power. Che Guevara says that justice is never given, it is claimed. The oppressor never steps aside willingly, it is always the courage of the oppressed that forces change. He says that even when you feel alone, the truth is walking beside you. Every act of honesty strengthens your spirit, and every act of courage breaks a piece of the oppressor's throne. According to him, dignity is the one thing you must never surrender, because once you lose dignity, you lose yourself. A person who keeps